That was on me.
What you do with your time?
Season 2, episode 140, Stateside Gooners. This is the 2025-26 season wrap up. So what have I been doing with my time?
2 weeks off.
Yeah. I've only watched pieces of World Cup games except for the US. I've increased my sleep.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I look, my eyes.
Encouraging. Yeah, I can see that.
I haven't even put any like aloe bags under my eyes to keep them looking this nice.
Nice. Aloe bags.
Silver.
Fun with those silver things that I've seen those.
Whatever. Yeah, like there's a whole but my daughters have them for Christmas every year in their
that's what they want as a stocking stuffer.
In their stocking stuffers, but then they end up just sitting around, so I snag one little packet of them once or twice a year.
And they work well?
I wouldn't know. They just feel good.
Yeah. Okay. They feel good. Okay. I'm in.
Apparently that's what I should have been doing over the last 2 weeks. Yeah, so I want to do the wrap up. I know everybody, when they do their post-season wrap up, they do a 1-by-1, X out of 10 for each of the players, and I don't necessarily want to dig into
score them.
I think everybody else has done stuff like that already. I don't know that we necessarily need to do that, but I think we can do a wrap up for Gooners with our uniquely American style and our uniquely East Coast take
bias
on it, and then and hopefully East Coast bias. Yeah. Hopefully, it's funny about East Coast bias. We were talking about World Cup games, and someone at the office said, Americans, if you want Americans to enjoy soccer and appreciate soccer and start watching soccer, you can't have games at midnight. You can't have games that start at 9 o'clock. You can't have games that start at 8 o'clock. And I was like, okay, well,
did they watch the NBA finals? Sorry.
The US game, the US game starting at 9 o'clock, people are going to put up with that, watching that. But like the game the night before that was at 8 o'clock was South Korea and Czechia. Started at 8 o'clock.
Right.
But it was... I looked it up and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was like either 11 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon in Korea, and like 6 in the morning or something like that in Czechia. So like, it's not for us, it's for them. If the best time for them is to play it at midnight, like last night's game that I tried to stay up and watch and didn't.
So that the Australians could take advantage and watch that last night.
Right.
I mean,
and you gotta have it so that it's a world game and it's a world tournament. It has nothing to do except that it's happening here for money with us.
Yes. All of those things.
If you want to enjoy the game of soccer, you don't have to get up at 7 a.m. to watch it either, because you don't have to pick that game to watch. If you just want to start watching soccer, watch the 10 o'clock games, watch the Sunday afternoon games. Because you know what? At 1 o'clock on Sunday, you're watching football in the fall. But at 1 o'clock on Sunday, you could be watching you could be in the middle of the 12 o'clock game.
And I know we're going to get into the World Cup at some point later on, but Eric, the game of the World Cup for me so far, Japan and Netherlands, you got to watch that one. It was just so good.
It wasn't even the game. It was the second half.
Yeah, that's fair.
4 goals in the second half.
The second half was unbelievably
good. It was about 30 minutes, from 50 minutes until 80 minutes.
It's great.
Great 30 minutes of football.
Really, really great to watch. Good advertisement for it.
Yeah. So 85 points, Matt. Won it with a game to spare. Somewhere in here I might have had a thing. Where were you? Is it someplace you're going to remember when we officially won it?
Yeah, that's easy.
Remind me.
That's an easy.
Do you remember where I was?
I'm right here. I was right here when I found out that we won it. You were in a meeting. You were in it was a pitch.
Yeah.
What was it? It was a
Yeah. It's called
you were
Chesapeake. Yeah. And there was like
and
these
it's
tech
going on,
companies.
and all of a sudden texts started flowing into your
Yep.
right. You're obviously you're not watching the game, but there's things start to happen so that you go,
And I had to sit there and
what
bite my
happened?
tongue.
I
Yeah.
can't say anything until I gotta wait until I'm out to find out. But I can feel in my pocket that all the little
Oh no, and I
holy
looked and I
crap.
saw it, but it was like sitting in church when you just won the Super Bowl. So
right.
yeah.
Right.
Fourth Premier League title, 14th top division title.
Mm.
I think we forget about that sometimes, which puts us towards the top and gets us out of 13. And 14 is my favorite number, by the way.
Oh, that's right. This is a good number for you.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's a good one.
Lost the Carabao Cup, lost the Champions League final. Raya wins his third straight Golden Glove. Half the games were clean sheets. And it was a pretty young team to win it. I don't know, how much that matters. I think by the time we brought in some important players, we went from 2 years ago, maybe the youngest team we ever had competing, to somewhere in the middle of the league in terms of average age. But we're going to get into some of the younger players that had impacts and that are really going to be impactful going forward. So we'll get into some of that. But
trophy lift.
Is that your word?
That is just an amazing thing. No, that's not my word. I do have so where was I when City drew at Bournemouth? I was right here. I was right. I had actually forgotten about that game entirely. And I looked down at my phone and checked out BBC Sport, and oh my gosh, this game is going on. Oh my gosh, it's possible. That was all that ran through my head. And at that point, I decided I should take a break from work and watch the last 10 minutes because it seemed like it was going to be important.
I still haven't watched that game.
Boy, was it.
There's a lot of things.
There's no reason to watch it.
Yeah, I have years and years and years to watch whatever I want to about this season, and there's going to be all kinds of content out there. So,
yeah.
I can tell you that's what I'd spent my 2 weeks doing. The amount of time I would have been watching games, I probably doubled that on social media. Going through
all of
the bus tour, all the different angles of the bus tour
stuff.
The red smoke, North London is red. That's the proof.
So many good memories from this season. Maybe they weren't really good as you were going through them, experience them. But there were a lot of really, really good ones this season.
What was your favorite?
My favorite moment? See, the thing is, it's like, I guess for me, my favorite moment, and are you allowed to do things that didn't happen on the field? Because to me, my favorite moment is just seeing all of the Arsenal fans rush to the Emirates Stadium that night that the championship is clinched, the league title is secured. All the people that were going there just because they wanted to be together. They all stream, and they spent a lot of time getting there. There was reports are 100,000 people showed up that night just to walk around and be with each other.
That's it. It was just to be with each other.
Yeah, that's the community. And
do you have chills? Because you're saying that, and I have chills.
I am. Yeah,
the Arsenal community
I've got
just
chills.
Is so incredible that way.
And the joy, and that's the one word. It's the joy of the entire season. Yes, this is what we signed up for as fans. So there were these dips, and oh my gosh, we're gonna finish in second again. Oh my gosh, we're gonna all those things that kept happening. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was this unbelievable joy and just the
community. I think is the word for me. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, because you see other clubs that win things, and there's usually some type of violence associated with,
like the Knicks.
Well, I was going to go PSG is what I was going to go with. Over there in France, the Champions League final, they just like destroyed Paris. After that, they decided, well, let's go beat some things up. Yeah, but it was so nice to see that the refreshing change of pace. You win, it's peaceful. Everybody's just absolutely thrilled with one another. People are hugging more than anything. It was really nice to see. How's that?
Um, that's good. My favorite moment of the year, I think, was more of a person than a moment, but the moment is clear. And it's the kid, youngest player to ever play in the Premier League, youngest player to ever play in the Champions League, youngest goal scorer maybe in the league, but
Yes.
certainly for Arsenal. The goal
Yes.
against Everton was just a joy, and I think it really brought everybody back from like a low moment there.
Sure.
It kind of brought us all back when he scores that goal. Youngest player to win a Premier League trophy. And it's not like he had a ton of involvement, but we invested a lot in him as fans.
That specific game, though, he was instrumental in getting us the victory for that. In that he comes in on like 70 minutes and provides the assist, and then he provides the goal to clinch everything, which was just, as you said, just
And we
absolutely
haven't said
awesome.
his name, so if you didn't know, we're talking about Max Dowman.
Yes, Max, the
But
kid.
I also think favorite moments of the season, I kind of missed what would have been, because there was a few moments there where weeks where without Odegaard, uh, without anybody really to sit in that 8 spot and really do damage, we could have really used
We could
Ethan.
use, yeah,
We
we
could
could
have used
use
Ethan Waneri. So
Laneri.
what
Yeah,
did we
yeah.
miss? I mean, he apparently played enough that he walks out with probably a winner's medal as well. But
Mm-hmm. Sure, definitely does.
yeah, so that's it for me. Is looking forward to the future, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So human terms, 22 years. When my daughter was born in June of 2003, we win the title in May of 2004. She was not quite a year old, and she just had her 23rd birthday. That's how long it's been between.
There were so many near misses in between, right? But yeah, that's wild to think about it. It's absolutely crazy to think about it in those human terms of an entire person grew up while this was going on.
I mean, obviously, in 2004, I was 34, and now I'm more,
Well, add 22 to that. It's
and
that
now I'm
simple.
more. So I mean, but it is a whole human life. So it's been interesting to think of it in terms of that in these past 2 weeks. What is it that somebody who uh, is our friend Kier, uh, and his dad Sam,
Sure.
right? North London is Red
Never knew.
podcast.
Yeah.
Kier's 10 years old, and Sam had to wait 12 years from that championship until his son Kier was born, and
Yeah.
now Kier at 10 years old has his first title and doesn't know this drought. The taste is so good at 10 years old, and I can't wait to get them here and talk with them about.
Yes, that'll be a lot of
But
fun.
and I think it's coming, but I think about that. Like, there are people who, a friend of mine at work, a colleague, just started watching soccer and paying attention to the Premier League this year. He picks Aston Villa and they win a trophy the first year.
Wild. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that could be the situation. You could have been a fan that you just decided to start watching because they were going towards this invincible season, and you're all psyched up and they win, and now you're in. Your blood is Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a generation for us to win it again.
Right. Right.
So
yes, and all those little near misses in between. Gosh,
there weren't that many.
Leicester City is probably the one that I would point to the most as the one that got away. Maybe one of these second places.
I think
maybe.
the middle of the second place finishes last year wasn't that close, and the first one wasn't as close, but that middle one came down to the last day for real, and Tottenham walked away.
Yeah.
Didn't want to really participate because they didn't want to help us win. So
no,
it's the one thing I appreciate about the Fat Aussie.
The one. I wonder what that guy's up to.
But does it matter that we lost the 2 cups that we were in? I mean, it could have been a weird historic treble. It could have, woulda, coulda, shoulda on another day. And so, does it matter that we didn't win all 3?
To me, the Soda Cup final did not mean anything. And I think the manager's selection showed that he didn't really care as much about it. It was a case of where he picked with his heart and not his head, which I thought was the first time that I'd seen that in a long time with Kepa. Right, Kepa starting in net, giving him that opportunity to shine in a final. And then, of course, he didn't, and that's largely the reason that we wind up where we wind up on the losing end of that final.
Right.
The other final, yeah. I mean, what did you think of it? Sort of.
Well, I was going to go to the Champions League final, so go ahead, because that's where you were.
Yeah. Headed. So the Champions League final is post all of everything that had happened. It's the cherry on top of, right? It would have been the thing.
It's the cherry on top of the cherry.
Yeah, I mean, it really truly would have been. It was still a magnificent day out. I'll never forget that day for as long as I live, because it was so much fun. End result, not favorable, but still, you can accept it more because of what had happened the 2 weeks prior, right? It was okay in that regard. So the 2 finals were in such different places. You had already won something. Champions League final was extra, right? The Carabao Cup was the, oh boy, can we get a final? Can we get another cup? And I think you had talked about that. Prove it to me, Arsenal, that you can win a cup.
Right.
And that was your thing back in that final, and coming off of a really long hot streak, frankly, for Arsenal in that period. And that was sort of the start of the wobble that was had and allowed Team 115 charges to catch up.
Just about get through, but they didn't, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. They actually took a lead at one point, didn't they?
For a few days.
For all of a day. Yeah. It was crazy.
I think having had that been a treble would have been pretty incredible. Standing and looking at it 2 weeks later, we win the league after having been second 3 years in a row. One of those years we did win the plate, whatever the preseason.
Oh yeah,
right because we came in second and they had won. I think it was Team 115 had won both the the championship and the FA Cup, and since we finished second, we played in it and beat them. Yeah. But a championship and 2 finals out of the 4 competitions really that we were in that says a lot. To win 1, be in the finals of 2 of the other 3. So I guess the question for you is this a blip? Is this the finish of a cycle that, we were good, we won it, and now we're going to, go down? Is this the beginning of a a curve that's been bringing us further up along this journey, and now we're going to have a period of dominance for the next X number of years. What are your brief, organized thoughts on that?
That's not a soup question, is it? So this is but I'm glad you've asked this. This is a really good question to start tackling. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I mean, we brought in Berta for a reason. Berta was here to help us get over the hump last summer. He got all those deals done, regardless of how you thought about those deals and were they already in place, all of that stuff. But he got them all done. We got the depth that was needed in order to survive the year and win the league. Now is his time to shine, because now he has assets that he can sell in order to raise funds so that he can go out and purchase new shiny toys that will improve our team. So when you say, is this the end of something? I think it is kind of the end of something. This summer, we're probably going to have to say goodbye to some players we don't want to say goodbye to, Eric. That's just the fundamental truth, I believe. But those players are going to bring us, funds and allow us to go get more players to augment the team and to improve in some other areas where we're somewhat lacking and balance the team out a little bit more. So I think it's the end of one, but the start of another. And depending on how the summer goes, you can really set it up for being dominant for a long time. So that's what are your thoughts?
No, I don't think you've skipped anything. I think we're going to have, coming off a championship season, we're going to have an opportunity to, it was very nice to say goodbye, but to offload some quality players is how I sort of think of it. Mm-hmm. And whether that's Trossard, Martinelli, whether that's Odegaard.
Oh, I know you're going to say some names that are just going to make me want to cry.
Odegaard, or if it's Kepa, because we're going to bring in a goalie that can play in the league to sub into the league. I think Raya played every minute of every game, if I'm not wrong. I don't think he missed a single game. I don't think he missed a single minute. I hadn't looked that up, so that's anecdotal. But I think
the last game was the one that didn't matter against Crystal Palace. He didn't play, but he was out.
Yes, okay.
So that was the only match that he did not play in or start in. Yeah.
And see, I already forgotten that one. But whether or not we keep Miles Lewis-Skelly, whether or not we keep, and it's probably more likely that we won't keep all of these number 8, these right-sided creative number 8s that we have, which is why I say Odegaard, because maybe we don't keep Ethan,
Right, and I think Ethan is a tremendous talent that needs to be unlocked, but it might not be his time with Arsenal. It might not be, timing is important, and maybe it's not the right time for him. But yeah, go.
Yeah, so I mean, I think obviously we need 2 or 3 more left backs, and there are people around the world that want Ricky. So if we sell Ricky, and that would be a shame, then I'm sure we're going to get a lot of money for him. We better get more than we paid, and I don't think that Arteta's afraid of it anymore. I don't think that Arsenal are afraid of it anymore, and I think that to your point, bringing him in as the experienced winner to buy and sell is really good for us. So I think it is the beginning of something, and I think pundits around the Premier League are saying, be wary, because even the ones that don't like us, be wary, because this is my friend. I have a little fly.
Yeah, I see that. Hey,
it's bothering me. It's all the light. He's real. He's not
a generated Fly.
But anyway, whatever happens, whether we sell Victor, and I don't know if we want to get into that and bring in, Julian Alvarez or somebody. I mean, then change is going to happen, and we're just going to have to be like, they're smart people, and we can blame them when it doesn't work. But
yeah, but I think we'll see the underpinnings for each and every deal. It's not going to be random hit and miss kind of things. I mean, this developing the depth and continuing to have the depth, that's going to be really, really important to see. And, there are some spots on our lineup that we didn't use some of those 25 players this entire season. So what is there obviously is a room to upgrade and room to improve the squad. And I think Bert is going to do that if he's not already underway doing it.
He does that every day of every year. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, he's really good. He sells, who is the player that he sold twice for like $100 million, who's now going to come to MLS? Oh gosh.
Yeah, he
forget it. I'm not remembering his name.
The French guy.
Yeah, it's not.
He's at Atletico. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway. But he that's an example of how he can sell really well, and I think that's going to happen some, and we're going to be happy that he's here and doing the selling, because I know, the past 20 years our selling has been terrible. Our best sale still remains Oxlade-Chamberlain to Liverpool for £40 million.
Yeah,
that's our
Antoine Griezmann.
Deal. Griezmann, that's the one. Yeah, that's the guy. Frenchman.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to go through a lot of the other podcasts, if not every single one of them goes through, let's rate this player. But I just want to talk about who came in and how they did, not necessarily ranking everybody, but just like a one quick fact, one quick thought, whatever you want. So we brought Zubamendi in from Real Sociedad. It took about four decades to bring him in. And everybody in the world had already signed him at least once, if not more, by the time he actually signed for us. And he was supposed to give Declan Rice some space and some freedom. He didn't play a lot at the end of the season, probably just because of exhaustion, and not just physical, but mental.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere he is the only player to have played in every match for Arsenal, which I find that a little bit suspect because some of the cup games, but he played in a bunch of them, and yes, he's got to be tired. So I hope he does get some rest this summer.
Worth it.
Yes, check mark.
I think
he was so good in the first 3 quarters of the season, Eric. The goals, oh my gosh, the goals that he scored. That magic one that he just plucked out of the air and fired into the top corner, that was magic. We needed it. And we needed it in that game.
Who was the one that was it Trossard a couple years ago that karate kicked? Miles Lewis Skelly karate kicked the ball that just kind of looped into the far. It was on the right. It was on the left side of our offense, and somebody just kind of did a karate kick like that, and it just looped into the far post and scored a goal. And I feel like that's the kind of thing that Zubamendi could just snap into at any moment at the edge of the box.
Yeah, I am so excited to see his Arsenal career grow. It's going to be fun to watch him grow. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's
definitely worth it. Yes, check.
Let's move to Mascara. 13 million only. Brought him in from Spain as a backup right center back. Probably played more as a right back for us this year, but I haven't looked at those minutes.
Yeah, check. Yes, he was excellent value for the money. He contributed. He is very smooth. I mean, we talked about wanting a sort of understudy for William Saliba. Ooh, he's got the same type of mentality
calm
that Saliba does, right? He's got that calming, sort of sense about him. And yes, you're right. He can cover and play right back as needed. We don't want him to do that a whole lot anymore.
I
That's it.
like the age profile on him, and I think we'll have him for a while. I think as he, right about the time that he's hitting his best, is right about the time that you might start to see a little bit of a dip from Saliba. I don't think we're going to be able to keep both of them for the next 3 years. One or the other of them is going to have to go. We're going to have to sell.
I think that's true. At some point, one of them will have to go, but boy, we're in a really good spot for that right center back slot for the next while. That's not something that Berta has to concern himself with, unless somebody comes in with $100 million pounds and says, "Hey, I'd like to buy that mascara fella from you."
We talked a little bit about Kepa Arrizabalaga. You want to try that one? No.
Nice.
And Christian Norgard. What are your thoughts about both of them? Neither one of them got a lot of minutes. Neither one of them was super influential in terms of the title race.
Yeah, I mean, Kepa was here largely as backup, and when he was purchased as backup for the cup keeper, that was great. I thought it was really good money, really good value for the money. $5 million from Chelsea, I'm thinking. Yes, so it was really good value. And
we finally underpaid for somebody.
And what did he cost Chelsea? $90 million.
He was he might still be the most expensive goalie. If he's not, it's only because 115 charges overpaid for the Italian, but I don't think they did. I
don't think they paid as much for as
Norgard.
Norgard, I think it's good value. It was a really nice story when he was signed, but he just didn't play enough. And when he did play, it was clear that he wasn't trusted by the manager to do the job that the manager wanted him to do. So no, it was Christian was a strike. That's probably the first miss I think that was had.
What? So do you think he was brought in as a real, since we also brought in Zubamendi, was he brought in as cover for Zubamendi, or was he brought in as replacement for Jorginho?
I clearly think he was. I think he was brought in for leadership in the locker room, to replace Jorginho. I completely get that. It would have been great. We talked about Zubamendi's minutes this season. Norgard stepping in to play some of those games against some of the lesser competition would have been great.
And then I have to go in my head, Matt, who's that in this league anymore?
I get it.
It's not Wolves, and it's not West Ham, where we almost lost, and it's not. I mean, Burnley was closer than it should have. Towards the end of the season, those are the 3 teams that got relegated, and they weren't easy. So I don't know who is the lesser teams in this league anymore.
It's all about how you set it up, and he clearly was not trusted by the manager to do that. So that's puts more emphasis on Zubamendi playing all of these minutes, and then that hurts us in the end.
The team that he should have played against is Tottenham. That's the team he should have played against, because they were the easiest team for us this year. Seriously,
yes, they were. They were, weren't they?
We had the biggest goal differential against them than anybody else in 2 games, didn't we?
Them and Leeds. Eze, we just put in Eze against.
Was it 9 against Leeds?
Leeds, I think it was 9.
Tottenham, or
I think you're right. Well, I think it was 8 against Tottenham. I don't think we got to
so
9.
So those are the teams that he should have played against.
Yeah. It would have been good to see him get minutes just to save some legs.
We picked up Madueke to cover for Saka, and he looked a lot like the type of players. Jeremy Doku, who's that big muscly guy that came from Barcelona, went to Wolves and played at Fulham for a while this year. Traore, Adama Traore.
Yes, right.
Looks good, gets down the wing, puts a cross in that goes nowhere, doesn't really have the kind of productivity that you want. That's what Madueke felt like to me. But he had a little bit here on some goals. His deliveries were really good. When Saka was out, at first he didn't know how to do it, and then they trained him up on how to do corner kicks. So I thought we just about got our money's worth with him because we won the championship. If we didn't win the title, I probably would have complained about the same exact productivity.
I thought he was excellent as backup and understudy to Saka. and it was great to have him there for those matches. I do think at some point his brain moves faster than his feet, or sometimes his feet move faster than his brain. Something has to slow down so that everything works for
That's
him.
my mouth, right? My brain and my mouth.
So something has to slow down for him to get everything to work right. I love his mentality and want to take people on every single time. He never shied away from that. So I really enjoyed Noni, and I think he was definitely check mark. Yeah, I would say we got value out of that.
So I'm going in the order that I am for a somewhat specific reason. Hincapié won the league with Leverkusen when they had that season with Shaka, and we brought him in on deadline day for a loan fee, and now we're going to pay 45 million this summer to buy him permanently. He's played both left center back and left back and done very well, I think, at either position. But I think he was brought in probably more for that left center back.
I'd agree with you.
And I think we found somebody who's better at playing left back.
Yeah, it's clear the plan at the beginning of the year was having Hincapié as left center back backup to Gabby. And then on the left side, it was going to be MLS and Ricky. But something happened. And Hincapié is just really, really good at that left back slot. And I think very underrated in his ability to go up and down that left-hand side.
I wonder what we're going to be able to sell Ricky for, because having Hincapié and being able to bring a young backup in, or an experienced backup in behind him who can also play left center back,
sure,
lets us let Ricky go for a lot of money. Champions League finalist, Premier League winner.
Yeah,
scored some goals, in the last 2 years. So yeah, okay, happy with him. And then, gosh, what do I want to do? I guess we're gonna go.
Yeah, you want to go to the big one?
We stole Eze from the North London Neighbors for 68 million. That last quick call. Are you sure you want me to go and play for Tottenham? The agent calls or Eze calls.
He gets in the phone booth and says, "Hey, Arteta, what gives?"
Yeah, man? Like whatever the real true version of that is. Like, that's a pretty incredible story, and I think that he's the heartbeat of the team, I think, this year. Like, there's a lot of those, but like, he brought this energy, finally being home again, that maybe let everybody else have a little bit of appreciation for where they are, that maybe they didn't remember. Sometimes you forget how good it is where you are.
Yeah. Thrilled that he was with the club this year. His shot making ability is wild and is fun to watch. He can shoot from anywhere, any angle. He's going to get a shot off. He doesn't need a half a yard of space. He doesn't need much space at all. He will get a shot off, and it will be a very difficult shot for the keeper to stop. So that's the thing that I admire the most about Eze. And the one thing that we didn't see enough of this year, when we signed Eze, that I was really, really hoping to see more, Odegaard and Eze in the middle operating together. That's the one thing that I was thrilled about this move at the beginning of the season. If you're going to do the low block, well, we'll bring in Odegaard, we'll bring in Eze, and we'll be able to unlock that thing.
I really think that a 4-2-3-1 doesn't allow that. A 4-3-3 doesn't really allow that. It's almost like we have to, in certain games, we have to be playing 4-1-4-1 with Rice, Zubamendi, somebody like that, sitting in that spot in front of the center backs, covering. and leaving the creativity to now you've got 4 across the midfield. Saka, Odegaard, Eze, somebody on the left wing, and Gyökeres or Boy Havertz has been looking good, scored 2 today. Up top, and so having that, to be able to have still Saka, to be able to still have somebody fantastic that we're picking up this summer on the left wing, and those two.
Yeah, and the number of goals and goal contributions that Eze was part of, that was really, really good this season. His performance against Tottenham alone made him the signing.
And the last one, 98 goals in 96 games or whatever it was that he was in. And we knew that wasn't going to translate directly. We were hoping, I think, 25 goals in the league would have been optimal, but 25 goals across the season was kind of like the minimum expectation in all competitions. And he nearly got there at the end.
Yeah, he got 22, 23, I don't
21,
know.
I think.
I mean, 21 is where
I think he ended at 21, yeah.
And, Victor, the signing of the summer, the big one that everybody was talking about, who do you sign, him or the other guy? The other guy proved to be, I think, too difficult. That's why we wind up with Victor. And I think Berta is probably the reason that we wind up with Victor, because I don't think Victor was truly on anybody's radar that this is a deal could be done. I don't think this is the person that Arteta wanted.
No, I don't. The way I understood it at the time, he definitely didn't. This isn't who he wanted, yeah.
But yeah, really, really happy with Victor. He did have struggles throughout the season, but we know that it takes a while for players to acclimate to this playing style and playing system. So I'm really interested to see how he comes good in this upcoming season.
I think Norgard needs to be replaced. Kepa probably needs to be replaced, and
yes.
We probably can sell him for more than 5. We can get a profit on that. Is there anybody else in that list? Zubimendi, Gyökeres, Eze, Mosquera, Madueke. Hincapié will be just coming in, but before we even buy him, we could sell his paper for more than 45 million and keep Ricky.
I wouldn't.
Is there anybody that you would look to get rid of besides Norgard or Kepa?
The only one that I would even entertain the idea is Mosquera, and that's only if some big club from Spain wants to claim him as this is going to be our right center back for the next 10 years, and we're going to pay you, I don't know, 80 million for this guy. That I would say yes to.
Well, one of them might be coming in like that for Ricky, but we have to be able to want the 80 million, and I don't know that he's really worth 80. I think Mosquera, he's sturdy. Ricky's a little more fragile. I don't know if 80's ever going to be in his
wheelhouse. Yeah. Everybody that's mentioned, Norgard and Kepa, are the only ones, I think, for me.
So do we need to replace or add on at striker with a healthy Havertz if he stays healthy all summer, and we get into the fall? Gyökeres, he also plays tonight. Do we need to replace him? Do we need to sell him, move him on, and bring? Because there's a lot of talk about the ex-Man City current Atletico Madrid, whether he's going to go across the street to go to Madrid from Atletico, whether he's going to come here, whether he's going to go to Paris or somewhere else.
Yeah, of all the stuff I've read about him, is he wants to go to, he's like one of those players that it's Barcelona or nothing. So I don't think we have a chance at him, which I'm actually frankly okay with.
Oh, you're talking about
Alvarez. Yeah. So you're talking about replacements for Victor. And
I'm not convinced he's the right one anyway. I would have said 2 weeks ago I would have wanted him, but in the 2 weeks that I've done some research, he didn't really score that many goals. And if you can't score in La Liga, If you can't score in La Liga on a team like that, then you can't score in this system. Even if you did, you had the tools, and you had Haaland, who was sucking up all the attention for him to score all those goals in up north.
And Victor demonstrated improvement throughout the season. The most important thing that he did demonstrate was his ability. He was there. How many games do we have Kai available and healthy to play? Very few. But Victor was always there. I mean, there was a stretch of about 2 or 3 weeks when he was not fit. But yeah, tremendous that he was able to stay fit.
We already have a history of demoting Leno to bring in, what's his name?
Oh my gosh. I can see his face.
I know. And then within a year or a year and a half, Ramsdale demotes Leno. And then a year and a half later, 2 years later, whatever, Raya comes in. First 2 or 3 games is Ramsdale. Then I don't know why we didn't just start Raya 3 years ago, the first game, but whatever. There's a history of the potential that pretty quickly it could be decided, this is not the right guy, bring someone else in and then sell him on. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes that way because of the season that he had, but because the productivity was so good in the second half and towards the end of the season, he looked more fluid with the club, with the players around him, all of them.
He did.
And I
think more connected.
I think they finally figured out how to use him best.
I agree with you. I think he did start to show some of those skills that we have desperately wanted from our sole striker. We want to see that. We want to see that striker be able to retain the ball, control the ball, and Gyökeres running the channels. We got to see that a lot. I am really interested to see what more he can do for this offense. So I'm not done with him yet.
We said Rice and Raya were probably the 2 players that were the best players on the season, but who was the best player that was in the freshman class here that came in first year?
For me, it's Hincapié, hands down.
Hands up. He was the best player out of all of them?
Out of all of this, yes, I would put him in there.
Huh.
Yeah. He because of how...
Is that most consistent across the season, or like, why are you picking the guy who maybe had the least amount of minutes of those sort of top 6?
Well, because I think how do I want to say this? First of all, he comes from the German. You talked about Leverkusen. You talk about how he won a championship there. So he knew what it took.
Oh, but I'm asking you about the performance that these guys gave this year. Is that?
And I think that's part of the performance.
Okay.
Him coming in, helping out with this, getting over the hump aspect of second place to first. And I also think that his defending was also going to be key, especially how we were. I mean, Ricky wasn't healthy. For whatever reason, MLS was put on a list of he's not going to play left back anymore. So I think he was a really key addition to this whole puzzle. And I think it was a deadline day, yes?
Yes.
Kind of like how Arteta and Arteta came to Arsenal on a deadline day.
Per came on, yeah.
Yeah.
And they say it's the same. They say that was the turn of the Arsenal history, bringing those 2 guys in.
Yeah.
Because they got blooded anyway.
But he's on this list.
I think.
But I like the defenders, so you're gonna have to give me that. My scale usually slides toward.
It does. I think. God, it's got to be. I mean, I'm a midfielder and a winger.
Oh, so then it's easy.
But I mean, I'm looking at Zubamendi, but then it wasn't his fault that what happened to him at the end of the season, the last 5th of the season or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault that the last 12 games or whatever it was, he gave 110% of himself in all those games before that. So like, if you've only got him for 3,800 minutes, how do you use those 3,800 minutes?
Oh yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation to have as we do the preview for next season. How do you spread out the minutes? That's going to be
You
good
know,
fun.
and
Yeah.
Jokeresh, like, how do you get the same production from him next year out of fewer minutes? Because
Correct.
you're going to have Havertz, and you're going to have what, and that's another one. Like we actually did it and won the title without having Wooly. So can we sell him?
Oh,
Can we sell Marino? Because
absolutely not.
he has good, but I mean, you got to balance the books, bro.
I
So
know.
anyway,
I get
I
it.
don't know. But for saying all of that, it's between Jokeresh and Eze for me. I don't even know. I mean, the impact wasn't consistent enough for either of them, but without what we got, we don't win it.
Yeah, you can make an argument for all of these players except
All right.
Norgard and Keppa that all of them had an impact. I mean, you look at the money that was spent, it was money well spent. Every single one of these players has a really good impact on the club this season. Of course, as we look back, we can say, yeah, we won the league, and
That's
that's
it.
why.
It looked
If we didn't
excessive
win,
in August, and
yeah,
it looked like the whole point in April is what I wrote. Yeah.
yep, that's it.
So I don't want to dig in. I'm trying to be wary of time. Too much on these injuries, so I'm going to skip that part. But if we have most of these guys fit most of the year, let's say that all of the injuries that each player had were half as long, and of the games at the end of the season, say that Timber didn't play and that Zubamendi didn't play, they were able to play in half of those games,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So all injuries were half as long, all games unavailable were half as many, whatever you want to say. Do you think that we win Champions League, we win that other cup, the Soda Cup, or do you think that the chemistry that was built because of those forced interactions on the pitch helped us in the bigger picture? Because now everybody got to play, and we learned things that we might not have learned about Mascara, about Hincapié.
Yay!
Do you know what I mean? Like, so maybe we didn't. I don't. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that is a really interesting question and take on how the season went, because we did have so many injuries. It forced certain matchups. It forced certain players to have to play together in game situations, learn to play together. For me, boy, I think every season has its own story. Okay. And this season was about what you've just described. Those injuries had to happen to make room for these players to make their contributions so that we could win the league. I think that's how this works. Next season, completely new story, completely new team. What happens? So I think,
right, Ethan's coming back, and who knows?
yeah, I mean, with with Havertz being out for such a long time, I think that really hampered Jokeresh's development early in the season, because I don't think that was ever even close to remotely the plan to have Jokeresh play all those games in a row at the very beginning of the year. There's no way that was the plan. And I think that did hurt him. But in the end, he came good.
It feels like the kind of question, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it feels like the kind of question that, like, Yogi Berra would ask it maybe this way: Who was the better player, Jordan or Babe Ruth? What? Like, you can't compare. So, like,
well, I guess what did you think? You think the injuries helped propel to the
think we
title, or do you
learned
think
things.
it's
Yeah, I think we learned things that we wouldn't have learned. I think the manager learned
Mhm.
things. I think, honestly, it forced him into being more flexible. And I think the biggest lesson and the biggest benefit was that the forced changes and not being able to rely on the same 13 guys and then winning the title, I think that expands his confidence maybe in himself and his ability to pick players for the moment. Because now he knows the moments when they're going to shine because they did, and the moments where they're not or might not. And so a big squad like that, you have to know who's going to be the best for the right situations. And in the past, his history showed that that guy's good for every situation. And that guy's not good for any situation. And this season, he got over the first one of those. He's not great for some of these situations. He's not great for some of those situations. He still isn't over the second one. You said yourself, MLS is not a left back anymore. Never will be.
Correct.
I
think that's
Crispin Norgard is not fit for the squad, and he probably is going to be sold in a matter of minutes, for all we know, if he's not already been. But so I think the second part of that, maybe he still has certain things that he's tied to that he's never going to get away from. But the fact that, he could play right 8, left wing based on what he needed, it's not flexibility we've seen other than Trossard or Marino really to be able to play in multiple positions like that.
Yeah. I like that answer.
It'll be good.
It helped expand his mind and who can be trusted. Yeah, I like that.
I think we're going to skip any World Cup stuff tonight. I just don't think we have the time.
Yeah, I don't think so. But not at this point.
This hatred for Arsenal, right? I think you either love Arsenal or you hate Arsenal. I don't think there's a lot of in between. And so when you sort of look at it chronologically, it's the boring Arsenal, right? The 1-0 to the Arsenal. Wenger makes us beautiful. Everybody likes that for a while. We win 3 in 5 or 6 years, 7 years, whatever.
Right.
3 titles. Make the Champions League in 2006 final. And people are either loving or hating us because of the invincible. A lot of people come on because Henri. A lot of people come on as fans because of like you, the Flying Dutchman.
Sure. Yep. Dennis.
And then there'll just be weird random Freddie Youngberg or Perez, or I really liked Wojciech Szczesny, when he did that thing in the locker room with the cigarettes, like just people have the weirdest reasons as I'm finding and you're finding out, like the weirdest reasons why they like Arsenal. And so, your origin story is your own, but we get to that point and then we have this drought where there's no trophies for 10 years from 2005 to 2014. And then it becomes this Champions League qualification is the trophy. And then we lose the 8-2 at Old Trafford. We lose the 5-1s consecutively to Bayern. And so this idea that we're in it for the money and we're in it for the chatter. AFTV came out and I really didn't like it, this Arsenal fan TV, because it was very negative. This whole meltdown sort of culture and just like everything is wrong. And I got to admit, I listened to, probably about 3, 4, 5 pieces of 3, 4, 5 episodes of their pod this year. And it's better. It's better.
Okay.
It's better. It's not all this negativity, but this is a year we won. And maybe they turned a corner years ago and I just never really listened. But in this time, I couldn't even pay attention to what they were saying because it was always this negative social media presence about how bad we're doing football, being a club. Then there was the all or nothing. Maybe the timing was wrong because we didn't win, and it was it the first year?
I think it's the first year of Arteta.
We finished. I think it's the first year we finished in second place.
Oh, is it the first?
I don't think it was.
I'm gonna have to look at that again.
I have to go back and look as well. But it was the brain and the heart, and the brain and the heart. Yep. Speeches that he would give, and we don't get to see what the other coaches are saying. And he's creative, and he's got a bunch of he's right there, I think, on the millennial Gen X cusp, right? And so I think that, he's trying to relate to these younger millennial.
I don't know what
Gen Z,
generation we're in.
you know what I mean? Like, and trying to relate to these people. I don't know that I could do it. I don't think I could do it. I'm going to be honest, and he's 10, 12, 14 years younger than we are. So, and he's doing a great job of doing it, but it just, and all the arguing and moaning and complaining on the sidelines, like people see that they don't show it on TV when other coaches are doing it. And it becomes okay when you see a goal scored and Mourinho drops to his knees, and hands up like he scored it, like he was sliding, or Klopp runs down the side of the pitch, or, Pep is running around hugging everybody that there is, but we don't necessarily see that. But somehow Arteta gets this because of the all or nothing, focus. Then the dark arts age, where everybody was talking about us being dark arts 2, 3, 4 years ago and up until now, and the set piece kings. It's easy to hate us. All these reasons. Now that we've won, can we let that go? Do we have to bear the weight of that cross, or can we let that go?
Oh, I can let it go at any point in time. But I need some proof. I need some proof points from the world telling me that they're not going to hate Arsenal as much as they do. And I can tell you right now, I don't believe that I don't believe this is going to change how the world views Arsenal, this winning of the championship. They're all of a sudden going to become more rose-colored when it comes to looking at Arsenal. Oh, I don't think that's going to happen. And I'll tell you why. I had a text exchange with a Man United fan, and, we were talking about the Champions League final. And all I got from him was, well, you scored early and you parked the bus.
He's not wrong.
And I'm not gonna say that he's not wrong about that. But what I will say is, I don't necessarily think his assessment's fair on the Madueke pen that should have been called a penalty. It's the same exact foul as they did call a penalty. I do think there are many instances where I could show him this happened, it was a foul. This happened, it wasn't a foul. So, but I think the overriding tone of that conversation was, yeah, but you're still Arsenal, and I'm still going to pick on you, and I'm still going to pick on Arsenal as being this boring club from now on. And I don't really think, the animosity that's out there towards Arsenal, it wasn't there when we were winning. It wasn't there when we were, I guess, playing that freestyle Wenger years, when we had all those little teeny tiny fellas playing in the middle of the park, all those tens, right? We had all those guys playing. We weren't really winning the league. We weren't really doing much of anything, but it was fun to watch. People were sort of neutral about us at that point. They thought we were foolish and naive. So the narrative's always going to change about Arsenal, but I think it will always be an overriding negative. And I don't think people love to hate Arsenal, and that's fine. They can continue to do it as far as I care. And you?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think this changes outside perception?
Now that we won, right, then the whole 1-0 to the Arsenal thing goes away because it proves it wins trophies again. Specialists in failure, which is, I think, that goes way back to the Chelsea manager when he was talking about Wenger. I just said his name. Mourinho.
Which I can't believe Real Madrid's going to bring him back. Specialists
in failure. So, so we don't have that anymore because we've won it. But I feel like being the team or being the manager who's like writing that on the locker room wall as the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get around that as the motivation now, because we won. The not winning and the always being the underdog and the always finishing second place and like having to prove ourselves. Now we have to prove that, you know, and not many teams can hold on to the championship when they win it the next year.
Yeah, I mean, look at Liverpool this season.
But even Team 115 didn't always. It's not like they won it 9 years in a row. You know, they win a couple and then they lose, and then they'd win a couple and then they lose. But it's not easy to do. So I think it's something that we have to be able to keep that edge of the underdog sort of feel without feeling like everybody hates me, and, you know, like sort of this victim mentality.
Yeah, see, I don't see it as victim mentality. I just see it as that's definitely inspiration to go out and prove everybody wrong.
It's different when they hate you because you're the second place finisher, and when they hate you because you win every year.
Right. That's a completely
like
different
Tom
situation.
Brady is a different kind of I don't like you than anybody that's ever played and been good for the Las Vegas Raiders, you know, or the Jets.
Right.
Your team is just Jets. Bad, and you're a bad. Maybe you're a bad, in my judgment, a bad person, right? And I just don't like you, and you play for this awful team. It's so much easier for a person just, you know, you've won 7 times. I'm sick of watching you win, and I want to be the person. I want to be the team and person that roots for that team once.
Yeah, I think it is a significant challenge to repeat. There's all kinds of time to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, going back to your original question, does this change how people perceive Arsenal? I don't think so. I think they're still going to hate us, and that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Team 115 has won titles with Phil Foden, came up through their academy. Cole Palmer came up through their academy and won a title medal before he went off to Chelsea. Rico Lewis won as their left back. And way back in the day, Micah Richards came through their academy and won the first one. I like that guy, actually.
He's very fun.
He's from a team called Manchester City.
I would agree with you. And he's just a fun guy. I mean, my gosh, that guy, he sees life through those really, really happy glasses.
They didn't all win the same trophy in the same years and all that kind of stuff. But I look at our academy, and that's a good representation. We've got 3 guys that were from the academy that won this year. And we're going to, I think, have all 3 of them for a while. Ethan's the one that, do we sell him for money?
Mm-hmm.
But I think we keep him 1 more year, because it's not like he had a stellar year in France. He didn't get used. So it's going to be really interesting. And it's not like they're the last ones coming up. And they're not going to be used. I think Miles is going to get used more. Miles is probably, instead of bringing somebody in, Miles is probably the Norgard replacement.
It's entirely possible. You've got a point there. You list these 3 as the academy kids, but we do have an academy graduate that won the title this year. So Saka is on that list, and
I forgot about him. Yeah,
right. It's so easy to do because of this new crop. It's not like you're clinging to Saka as the last academy graduate to play on the team, because you're right. It's been probably 8 years since he's made his debut, or maybe
Ben White
6.
was just barely out of the academy age when he came. I mean, he had been a Brighton starter, but he was just barely out of the age that you'd be considered academy. And then Martinelli we bought when he was 17 or 18.
That's,
you know, he came in as an academy player, but was good enough that they threw him in and started him right away. So he never officially counted as academy. But like
Right.
those guys were so close to the edge there and so young in their starting time point with us that it almost feels like their academy because of the ages we bought them at.
But it's just fun to see the academy producing such terrific talent, and to see that talent then have impact on your title winning season is really rewarding.
When we come through to the preseason, I'm going to be interested to see where we land on how many minutes Max is going to get. Because I think that he's got to hold him back. He's still got to hold. The kid's only 17 next year. He turns 17 in December 31st at the end of this year. So like until he's, until you only get so many minutes. And when you look at Saka and when you look at Sterling,
sure, those are good examples.
It's 500 games.
Mm-hmm.
You get 500 good games, and it doesn't matter if they're for club or country. After 500 games, it's a rare player who can keep his level. And Sterling is the one who fell off, and we're starting to see a little bit of that with Saka through injury. And I wonder if the injuries aren't actually helpful because they stop him from playing, and that we get him a little bit longer because of that, the time we get him, like, and the fact that maybe every game he doesn't start anymore, so that it's when we need him the most, we get him. And you've got people behind him that can play, so hopefully that plays to our advantage. But then you got to do the same thing with Max. You got to do the same thing with Ethan. You got to do the same thing with all of them, MLS, because you're going to get 500 games at most, from most of those guys. And every once in a while you get more.
Yep. And I think, when you talk about those 500 games, I think that's got to start to come into play with Arteta's thinking as he goes through this summer, because the man is already thinking about next season. The man is already plotting for next season. I'm sure he and Berta have had many conversations about it already. And his thinking is going to be going into the season as, yep, I've done this before. I can do this again. So and I think some of that has to deal with the minutes as you're talking about. Don't play Saka every single game. He doesn't have to start every single game. Don't play Rice every single game. You can mix things up and still get the results that you want, still get the 3 points. So that at the end of the season, in the run-in, you've got the team that you want. He still hasn't had that opportunity, I don't think. He still hasn't had the team that he wants playing in March, April, May. He has not ever had that. He's always had to deal with injury crisis in March, April, and May.
So we would have had, in this case, we would have had Zubamendi, Saka, Havertz, right back, Timber.
I mean, these are big.
Zubamendi. Did I say that already?
Yes, you said Zubamendi, and a healthier
Odegaard.
Sure, a strong Odegaard. And healthy Odegaard.
It's true. What is that team? I'm trying to think of how many games, like when we started the season and we were like, oh my gosh, this midfield, this back four, this front line.
How are they going to find all the minutes? Right.
How many games did we have? Who's going to start at left 8? Is it going to be Rice? Is it going to be Eze? Is it going to be
Havertz? I mean,
is it going to be Havertz? Is it going to be Wooly?
Sure. Right. Wooly, somebody else that was not.
Where are we going to fit Ethan in?
Sure.
I mean, there were 2 and 3 players at every spot. It was a nightmare and a dream, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens as we go through summer. So I think the episodes we're going to have as we go through summer, I would like to have probably a weekly recap. Maybe we'll do this on Wednesday this week of the World Cup. And because we started kind of on a Wednesday, didn't we? The
I
World
think
Cup.
that's probably
I think
true.
if we do
that.
Wednesday episodes as World Cup episodes and maybe Sunday episodes as Arsenal episodes. Of course, this is just off the top of my head as we're looking at each other right now. But
I have
I would
idea.
definitely like to do a World Cup episode at least once a week and focus it kind of more on Arsenal and what are the Arsenal
I think that's
guys
it.
doing but I think as we go through the summer, we're going to probably have a couple of episodes just as a what's going to happen. A couple of episodes that are, silly season. We'll do our typical preview. I wanted to have Sam and Keir on for this episode, or at least part of it. So we're going to have to do something with them, the North London is Red podcast. Definitely, we'll get into some preseason stuff, but is there anything else that we're going to do this summer? I don't know.
So I wanted to do that, and maybe I'll do it as an article instead and post it on Substack about what are the things that I want you, player X, to improve on this summer.
What to work on
and
this
come
summer.
back. And again, it can't be injury. It can't be anything like that. It's got to be, what's the next skill set that I need from you? And I've thought about some of them. I haven't thought about others, but I'm going to come up with all of them. I don't know that I'll do Norgard. I don't know that I'll do Kepa. Maybe Kepa. Catch the ball. No,
so is this you're the coach, and what do they need to work on in
exactly
either in the training room
individual
or
skill?
like
what is the thing I want you to have?
Strengthen your legs so that you don't fall down when somebody touches you.
Well, for that one, it's balance. It's figuring out your balance and how do you run.
Do you know who we're talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking about. You're talking about Gyökeres because he falls so weird, and I think that is held against him when it comes to fouls and penalty decisions.
It's different
because he falls weird. He falls weird.
They're a foot different in height, it seems, but like MLS, you can't knock down. and he absolutely can't stay up.
That's why I think it's all balance. Just put him on one of those, what are they called? I'm doing physical therapy right now, so I should know those. It's that ball that is rounded. It's like a half a ball, and you stand on top of it to try to keep balance. And I can't think of the name of that ball, but that's an example as far as, yes, I see. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, but it's the other way. So it's like you inflate it, so you can inflate that one as well.
No, this one's hard.
So, but that is a very good example.
I have another one.
Balance boards.
I have another one that I use that is it looks like a skateboard, the kind of skateboard though that Marty McFly would have been on in the second Back to the Future. So it's square and it has it has a channel on the bottom, pardon me. And there's a round wheel that has a channel, and so you balance on it at first just to get the balance, right? So it's on this ball like this, but then you can roll it and you can balance all the way over here, or you can balance all the way over here. Like if my mic is the ball and this is the thing, and you can just be balanced standing there like this.
Yep.
And then control it, and get all the way back over to the other side. Yeah. Or I could do it where, you kind of rock it back and forth and then stop. Rock it back and forth and then stop. So like that, between that and this is how I keep mine. Why can't he do that, is your point?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that is something that he needs to work on. How does he run? I mean, I think that goes back to what is the basic skill set you need to run? And I think you need to break down every part of that, and he will be better off for it because he's just not smooth.
Mr. Miyagi needs to get him on a boat.
That's the example. Yes. Wax on, wax off. What is that? Yeah, that was right. That's right. Those were the,
I mean, he had him standing on the ground on the deck, the first, sand the board.
That's right.
Right. And then he got on the boat and had to do those things on the boat. Yeah. I mean, you could sensei him.
Yep. Those are the examples.
Good. So yeah, so we'll be looking forward to that. That will be fun. Multiple. I think this will be the most episodes we probably had. Well, it's only our second summer, but it'd be more summer episodes than we had last year by a lot.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some holiday time in here somewhere. I know we took a couple weeks off, but yeah, there will be some holiday time. Maybe we could do some episodes from there. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'm not against doing some solo episodes, some instant reaction episodes, USA.
Right.
I think we're back to some real basic chants at some of these USA games because there's a lot of fans who don't know. So we're just getting a lot of USA cheering.
Oh, I was in the pub because they were doing a watch party Friday night, and I just went, and that's all I got was USA, USA, USA. The standard hockey cheer from
Fair
1980.
weather, yeah,
84?
fair weather.
It was
World
84?
Cup fans, yeah.
1980. 80. It was 1980 was the hockey, yeah.
Also this year, right?
Oh, that's right. That was the difference, wasn't it?
Didn't we win
that was
this
the
year
first
too?
time. That was the first time since 1980. Yes. I don't know. I'm not a hockey guy.
Hockey's.
But that's where that
you used to follow
chant.
hockey. Like I used to watch hockey every single night, and I'm like, but when you follow 5 leagues in Europe, you can't follow very many leagues in the U.S. anymore. So,
too much to follow.
Yeah,
I do still have to do this kind of an episode for the women, and there is so much going on with the Arsenal women right now. It is so many outs, some people coming in. I'm excited to talk about all of that stuff.
It's tasty. I've been paying attention to some of it.
Yeah. It's going to be really good. I'm excited for it.
Anyway, all right. Well, Matt, as always, so much to talk about, so little time. Another long episode. I think the one thing we really kind of missed is, and maybe it bleeds through, but how much it means to be an American fan of Arsenal, watching from so far away, and waking up for years at 7:00 in the morning for those games, and the Champions League games, and trying to find ways to watch a 3:00 game when you've got work to do. All of this kind of stuff for years and years and years, and making the best you can of a team that sometimes looked really bad, and coming through and winning it this year. And there's really there's so much joy in that. And so I hope that, I know we have people all around the world that listen, but I hope that for the stateside, the real stateside Gooners, that you're feeling that joy. And no matter where you are in the world, even if you are in North London, it's still special everywhere.
Oh yeah, this is a special club to follow. There's reasons that we follow it. Great season. So thrilled how it turned out. At the beginning I thought, well, I'd really like the Champions League, but it turns out I really wanted the league.
I think we both agreed, if I remember.
Turns out,
I think the
league.
I think we both said
we came around to it.
I think we both said priority one is the league.
Okay.
I think we both said priority one is the league, and one or both of the Kevins are going to text me and let me know. But I think we said one or both would be great, but the league is the first thing, and then the Champions League is also like 1B, if you will, but 1A was win the league.
Job done.
Because you got to we had to get over the second place hump.
Oh yeah, you don't get over that. I don't know what happens. Coach leaves. Players. There's all kinds of ramifications to that.
I heard somebody say, and we really should go, but I heard somebody say on one of the podcasts, and I don't remember which one, so I want to give credit, but if you've heard it and then make sure you put it in the comments. The person was saying, you're an idiot, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, if you thought we should have fired Arteta if we didn't win a trophy this year, because look at how far along we've come. And I'm in that boat, by the way. If we didn't win a trophy, he should go.
Mm-hmm.
But look how far we've come, and how far would we go back without him. Because you want to talk about who's the heart of the team. I said Eze is one of those players who's the heart of the club because he was here and he wanted to come back so badly, and now he's home again, kind of thing. We only have heart because of Arteta. So if he leaves, do we keep what we have, or does it materially change how we feel about our club because he's not here anymore?
Yeah, luckily we don't have to entertain that speculation because I don't know.
Which is the point.
I hear you.
He still has to re-sign his contract. He still has to sign re-up his contract.
True.
We could want him, and he could get an offer to replace Hansi Flick or Pep, who hasn't been replaced yet.
Yeah, you don't want to walk into that.
So
115 charges finally coming down.
Anyhow, well, they're going down three divisions. That's the best punishment.
Well, I just wanted to lose 100 points.
Put them down to League. I say put them down to League 2.
Put them down into the league that makes them play the most games. That's what I say. If that's championship, because they have to play. Because there's how many teams are in the championship? There's what?
You play 46 games plus cups.
Yeah, let's do that. Playing every 3 or 4 days.
If they got relegated this summer, would they still be allowed to play in the Champions League because they earned it?
Probably. Yeah,
because UEFA is different from football.
Yeah, and they would want that. They would want that name in there.
Yeah. Anyhow, good to see your face, Matt.
Good to see you.